Alright everyone, it's time to go balls deep. So as always, I give you my opinion and analysis on Boruto. But before I do, I must remind you all, since Rock Lee is relevant again, we covered 10 things you didn't know about Rock Lee 3 weeks ago, which explains his powers, how his design came to be, and everything else that you might find interesting. So make sure if you haven't already watched it, go give it a chance since it answers your curiosity and it would really help me out. With that out of the way, cue the intro. We are introduced to Team 5 and we are immediately seeing the scale of missions the different teams go on. It's kind of ridiculous how Boruto has already been on an S-class mission with Sasuke and his dad, and he has also stopped a war in the mist with Sarada Uchiha, and here we have is Iwabe, Metal Lee and Denki going on a constant D-rank mission spree, which is boring. This anime is called Boruto for a reason. Now I want to talk about what this episode represented and the problem the characters such as Iwabe and Rock Lee as well as us at home have with Metal Lee. Before I say everything, I'm telling you, I like Metal Lee. I always loved Rock Lee from the beginning, and if he has a son, I'm gonna try and like him too, because they represent us, normal humans that can do taijutsu and using the gates. Everyone has a problem with Metal Lee because they keep failing missions and progressing because of him, right? Realistically, anyone would feel that way. Like at school or college when you have a deadbeat group doing the essay, or if you're on the sports team, you're gonna be upset at the people holding back your grade. Metal Lee suffers from anxiety and literally created a new martial arts style called anxiety attack or something like that. Anyways, anxiety is a huge problem that many people are aware of, to be honest. Even one of my favorite rappers, Logic, suffers from anxiety attacks, so let me do a brief summary of what Metal Lee is suffering from. Anxiety is a feeling of unease such as worry or fear that can be mild or severe. In Metal Lee's case, it's pretty obvious that it's severe. Everyone has feelings of anxiety at some point in their life. For example, you may feel worried and anxious about sitting an exam or having a medical test or a job interview, and that's perfectly normal. However, some people like Metal Lee, for example, find it hard to control their worries. Their feelings of anxiety are more constant and can often affect their daily lives. There's 4 forms of anxiety, and I think Metal Lee suffers from the panic disorder version of it, because a panic attack is where your body experiences a rush of intense mental and physical symptoms. It can come on very quickly and for no apparent reason. So saying all of that, this character trait to have in Metal Lee is such a juxtaposition from his father, and that's what annoys all of us fans about him. That where some people may have a problem with this in Metal Lee, because Rock Lee was the embodiment of what we wanted to see and be. Rock Lee works hard and is a normal human being with great ideals. He represents the idea that we can achieve our dreams no matter the challenge ahead of us. When fans see Metal Lee have traits of Rock Lee in him, but anxiety on top of that, it's a contradiction of ideals that we don't like to see in people we like. Metal Lee has the ethics of working hard. He picked up Guy up the stairs and he does 3,000 push-ups a day, right? But in writing terms, all characters must have a problem. And since Rock Lee already covered the taijutsu problem in the original series, if you can remember, giving Metal Lee anxiety helps progress his character another way with the immediate growth we all see at the end of the episode in him. It was amazing to see. I mean, I like Metal Lee, and to be frank, he reminds me of myself. I mean, we all get nervous. I've said it many times. When I was at school, I was known as being shy, timid, reclusive, but very funny. For example, I loved drama class, but because drama involved acting and going in front of everyone to perform, it gave me anxiety and it affected my performance, and I would get red in the face like a tomato. You know, obviously not to the levels of Metal Lee, but it really did affect me. So what I'm trying to say is, the younger version of me, until this day, in certain scenarios and situations, I still relate with Metal Lee. We all do. Going through confidence or anxiety issues can only be resolved by putting yourself in a situation that makes you feel that way. That's what Rock Lee and Guy were trying to explain to Metal Lee. be yourself and try. For instance, let's say you're afraid of doing speeches or presentations, and in Metal Lee's case it's performing in front of everyone. I know I am. When I was at college I hated that stuff. I would get nervous and red in the face, but doing speeches over and over and presentations over and over again, and knowing the outcome isn't as daunting as you think it is, it makes you build confidence. That's the only way to climb over that wall in front of you. Learn how to create a door through it that resolves the anxiety in your mind. And that's what the message of the episode was, and it's true. Rock Lee and Might Guy did great work to help Metal Lee resolve his problems, and now he has anxiety attack. Opening the 8 gates is a difficult feat, even for talented ninja in the Naruto universe. Kakashi himself was surprised to find out at the time when Rock Lee was 13 years old that he can open 5 of them out of the 8. The gate of opening, which Metal Lee unlocked, removes the restraints of the brain on the muscles, so 100% of the user's strength can be used, whereas normally a person can only use 20% of their muscle strength. This is why when we see Metal fighting Rock Lee, it pushes and affects Rock Lee a lot, since it's full power Leaf Hurricane attack, which he didn't expect. Now at 4 minutes 40 of the episode, I bet when Metal Lee was talking about the necklace curing his problems, Rock Lee was thinking, God damn, why did I have a son like this? You're freaking useless, you dumb ass kid. You dumb boy, you're stupid. That's why Rock Lee walked away. Kind of ruthless fathering, but I agree with what Rock Lee was saying. How can a ninja be taught the gates technique, which is so dangerous, when they are relying on a necklace that they bought online to cure their problems? The ninja world is far too dangerous and real for a liability like that to be fighting. Seeing Guy Sensei is so great. I always loved his character and what he represents. Him and Kakashi don't even seem to have aged at all, and they are best friends. I mean, in the Shinden, we know Kakashi and Guy still hang out together till this day, and they visit spas, go eat and chill just like before. Guy Sensei has essentially been in rehab ever since what happened against Madara Uchiha. Naruto saved his life, but what we know from the episode and the Shinden is that Guy is still able to fight with taijutsu, and his rehab has allowed him to do this in short bursts. He can't go on long haul missions or do something so extravagant. But in this episode, he seems to be even better than before than we have ever seen him. Beforehand in the Shinden, for example, it doesn't explain that he can fight on his legs. It says he used his arms and he was on a wheelchair most of the time. So it seems with more and more rehab and years passing by, with the development of technology as well as medical ninjutsu, maybe we will see Guy Sensei fully recover to become a normal ninja again. But I doubt he will be as strong as he used to be, but it can happen. Only his one leg is left to be recovered. That would be kind of amazing to see. Seeing the new generation fanboy over the old generation that we know and love, it's so fun to see. We have seen them do this multiple times for Naruto, the other Kages, Sasuke, and now Might Guy. One thing I noticed when Might Guy was telling his experience of the Great War was the censoring. We know from all the episodes we have seen of Boruto is that this generation is kinda ignorant when it comes to the past. Now, is this a result of them not being interested, or because people chose to not pass on that knowledge? Because in my opinion, Might Guy definitely hasn't forgotten about Madara Uchiha, but I think because the children were listening and the Uchiha still exists, such as Sakura, Sarada and Sasuke's family, if they explain to the whole world that an Uchiha caused one of the greatest losses of life only 15 years ago, it will make them go be like, oh my god! It will make them grow prejudice towards the clan and people associated with them, such as Naruto. So I feel like what Naruto, Sasuke and the older generation may be trying to do is avoiding the mistake the second Hokage, Tobirama, had caused with the Uchiha, and what the third Hokage couldn't avoid with the coup, because the tension between ninja grew so large due to racism. Now obviously I may be thinking too deep into this, guys, I'm not stupid, anime balls deep going balls deep again, but this likely explains why ninja don't know much about the history. Even Sarada Uchiha, one of the smartest students that studies all the time, had to learn about her clan at the library. On the other hand, we know all the kids recognize Naruto's generation for a fact, and they see them as war heroes and they know their actions. That's why they idolize them and see them as great mentors. So the conspiracy is, what is the Naruto universe doing? Are they covering the truth because they can't handle the truth, knowing what ninja life is like? So if they explain everything to them and the truth, no one would want to become a ninja, right? Society would crumble with problems, the ninja job vacancy would disappear, and the world they knew would be gone. The very infrastructure of the ninja world would disappear if they told them the truth. Moving on, I don't think this arc is filler anymore because all the jutsu and everything we see is explaining and corresponding to the data books they released beforehand, but I guess it will be confirmed later on. This episode was great for the interaction between the leads. It's interesting to see Guy Sensei hasn't changed a lot, but on the other hand, Rock Lee as a father has become very strict in his teachings it seems. But I guess when writing a plot, you need a good and bad cop scenario for a sense of resolvement and growth to occur in the characters. Otherwise, there is no challenge or problem to occur for the character to jump over the bad cop hurdle. The episode would just be boring if everything was fine and dandy. Maybe that's why Metal Lee has anxiety in the first place. The fight itself in the episode was sick, I loved it. Any taijutsu fight in Naruto or Boruto is great. That's why we watch the anime, because they know how to execute it. I mean, Rock Lee and Might Guy easily without argument has the greatest moments in the whole anime. Rock Lee vs Gaara and Guy vs Madara Uchiha is the best piece of fighting we have ever had in the whole anime. I thought this episode was great, I loved it, I love getting to know Metal Lee a lot more. It's definitely shaping up to be better than the Chocho arc. So as always, don't forget to let me know your opinion in the comment section below as always, and make sure to hit the notification bell next time since there may be a competition, and I'll see you guys next time.